Hello and welcome to Map in the Dance World. Today my guest is an amazing dancer who I even had the privilege to get to watch perform. He was born in Spain and has traveled the world and now lives in Australia. He's an incredible dancer who has done it all. I would love to welcome Victor Zarallo. How are you, mate?
Hello. Hi, Angus. How are you?
I'm really good. So
Good.
let's start off from where you began. So if I understand it, you started off in ballroom dancing in Spain? How did that kind of come?
Yes, I started in ballroom dance because I used to stay at home on weekends on Friday night, especially when my parents used to go to do social dancing, ballroom dance. And then one day they took me with them and I asked them the next day if I could start dancing. And they were surprised because at the time I was playing soccer, football. Then I started to go to dance classes once a week when I was 9, and then the teacher asked me to go into competition. Then I started to do ballroom dancing, competing in ballroom dancing until the age of 15. And then that's when I stopped dancing ballroom dance and I discovered ballet.
And as I understand it, you discovered ballet from a competition? Like, didn't you see someone?
I went to the World Championships in ballroom dancing, and when I was in the competition, and like I thought I was a good dancer, ballroom dancer, but obviously when you go to Europe, and you see Eastern couples like Russians, Polish, you see the guys and the ladies, they have something different. So I asked my teacher because he traveled with me, and then I asked him why they're so different, why they are the qualities, like they look better in anything they do. And then he said because they do ballet. So he said to me, if you want to come next year and like be able to challenge them, you will have to get into this quality moment, like same level as them, and then start ballet. So I was like, all right, I start ballet. And then I remember traveling back. My mom just searched a private school in my hometown in Sitges, which is a small village south of Barcelona. And then the teacher said, "Yeah, he can start." Like, and she knew what was the reason for me starting. But then she said, "You need to go and buy this certain uniform. So you need to come with the uniform from already, like black tights, white t-shirt and jockstrap." And we went to Barcelona, to the town, to the city center. And I remember very clearly going into the shop, and when I saw the thong, which is called the thong, I was like, I'm not wearing this. And then my mom said, well, we need to see the right side. You need to try it on. I'm like, how am I going to try it on? And I remember putting it over my boxes. And yeah, it was complicated. It was weird. I didn't understand anything. I was like, I just want to do it to get better. And.
I think that's a nice intro for everyone. What I kind of want to transition to now is how did you, like, what was your first step into ballet, and then what did that kind of lead to? What was the next step after that?
Well, I then went to my first ballet class in Sitges, in my hometown, and then my teacher, I entered class, with my uniform, and then she said to me, "Stretch your feet," and then I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then she took my feet, and then she stretched it, and she saw the leg alignment and the arch, and she was like, "Oh wow, wait." You sure you just want to do this to try it, or actually maybe perhaps you should think it like, I know you're 15, it's late, but conditions, you have great conditions, and I love the challenge. So in ballroom dance, like I felt like I achieved quite a lot, and I was like, I'm gonna challenge myself. It's now or never. So I'm gonna give ballet a try because I knew I had a good chance to also succeed. I wasn't very aware of starting in late age, and late in age. Like I wasn't aware the technique. I thought by ballroom dancing I would, still dancing, but ballet is a whole other world. It's like the main thing. So it took me years. I feel like not long ago I understood that like ballet is the basic of everything, and if you know ballet, it's easier to learn anything else.
Mm.
Not anything else, and then go to ballet anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
how long were you at that school before you moved to? So, John Cranko you went to after that?
It was not even a year. Like she said, like you do it now and then you need to go abroad. So I went to audition in John Cranko, and then in the audition process, we did a ballet class basically. And I didn't even know how to follow. I just learned how it was a plie, or what was like something like I was so big. So I was copying the whole class. And at the end, I remember they came to tell the results and they got me in. And I was like, I felt so embarrassed, after class. I was like, oh my God, that's embarrassing. But yeah, I got in, and I think that I got in because of the conditions, the qualities, not because of the technique, obviously, but you go to a school to learn, not you don't go to a school already by knowing. I think they weren't aware how little I knew. Maybe they thought I had a bad day.
Yeah, yeah. You kind of just bluffed
um,
your way in.
yeah, but it went well. I got the position and I went for it. The problem is like I didn't know what was I getting into it really.
Mm.
Yeah, because it meant like I was about to do 16. I was about to do 16 years old. So I left. I remember I left in September, and 30th of September is my birthday. So 16, basically, you could say. And it was my first time living alone. Of course, like all these things, like you don't think about it before you leave. And that's what my mom always worried. And I never understood the worry until my second day when when I was like, God, I don't speak English, I don't speak German. I'm in Germany. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know ballet class.
That
It was a
just.
mess. Not it was an experience that helped me.
Yeah, yeah. So, you were at John Cranko for how long?
I was only there for a year, and not by choice, basically, because at the end of the year, like I did a whole year there, and I felt like by the end I was starting to get things, But obviously, if I went through to the next year, it was audition year, it was graduation.
Hmm.
I mean, it would have been awesome, like 2 years training in graduation, like.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um, anyway, like I got a meeting in the office, and then I think I knew what was coming. The director was like, you're not gonna make it to a professional dancer because you have a lot of potential, but now and he was like, it's not even like it's bad. Now you're starting to understand things, and before, like you need like 3 more years and you will get it. But I think it's late. Anyway, that was also 13 years ago, and
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really German. Franco is very Eastern thinking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's not how it. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, that's how it was, and you can't change anything. I got off of the office, and the lucky thing, which I think I'm lucky in life, and I'm happy to say it. Outside, it was Gary Norman, who was is the husband of the ex-director of Royal Ballet School, Gay Stock, who
Hmm.
she died years ago now. Who she was also director of the Australian Ballet School
All right,
before.
yeah.
And then he saw me and said, "Why you're upset?" And then I was like, well, I explained what happened. And then he said, "I've been he was there because Royal Ballet and John Cranko they were doing a collaboration for the end of the year performance. They were doing the 4 seasons. Um, and then he said, I saw you dance for the last couple of weeks. Yes, you need to work on things, but you have a great potential. Like you like the body. You're very lucky to have it. So come to Royal Ballet. We'll work with you." And I didn't even know it was Royal Ballet School. Like I knew Billy Elliot. I don't think it even come on. I think it came on the same year, and I watched it, and I was like, "Oh wow, okay."
That's
Yeah.
insane. So if I
Yeah.
get this right, you got to go to the Royal Ballet School and it just worked out that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Like he wasn't the director, so he asked me to go for one day to join the summer school, just to have the, Galen stock. It's a big organization, and a lot of people audition for the school. So you need to have the approval of the director, And then I went and I did one day and I had a good class. I remember I had a good day, because also my body was, as it was understanding everything. A bit, every other information was coming into my body from the year in John Cranko. So, like dancers should know this, like things doesn't come in one day and in 1 week. Sometimes you can work for a step for a month, and in 3 months time, somehow it just happens. So that was me. I did everything. So I went to the summer school and I had a good day, because I think I felt comfortable. The class was in English, not in Russian, because in Stuttgart, my teacher was Russian. So classes was in Russian. So class was in English. And I was like, oh, wow, it actually makes, because I trained the hard way. So it was a bit easier. Not easier, but like how it should be.
Yeah, closer to home. Like you should have a better understanding of what they were saying, what they were talking about. Just the whole environment felt better.
Yeah, and then I got in and I started in second year, so a year below. So I had an extra year of training before graduation. And yeah, I had one day in open class, I don't know if you know Tamara Rojo, who is the director of English National Ballet now. Was an ex-principal with Royal Ballet at the time. But anyway, she came to watch an open class and asked me after to coach me, because she really liked the way, maybe she thought I needed help, but I don't think she would have done it if she didn't see potential, and she did it for free as well. So I worked in second year when I joined Royal Ballet School. I joined the whole morning until afternoon in the school, and then I used to go to the opera house, to the Covent Garden, because just crossing the bridge, and I used to do class over again with her or her partner, Jose Manuel, for 3 hours, step by step. So I really gained confidence and knowledge. And then I went to third year, and then I was one of the first to get a contract, and I got into Scottish Ballet, which my first professional company. Within 3 years, like everything happened, and I had a contract with a major.
So so this is kind of what I want to dig into a little with you, because your knowledge on this is brilliant. What is the process for auditioning for, say, a ballet company? Like, what's the kind of process you go through?
So yes, this is 12 years ago. Okay, so right now, perhaps in the situation we live right now, perhaps it's different. Maybe you can audition through Zoom, which we'll talk about in the dance company. But yeah, I was in my third year. So in Royal Ballet School, they allowed you in the third year. They encourage you, of course, they encourage you. They want you to apply for auditions. And any audition you get, you tell the school and you miss this time, because this year is for you to get a contract. And also for Royal Ballet, in that case, I'm specific about Royal Ballet, what they want is at the end of the year, every student is contracted, because that's the reputation they get. You know where I'm going?
Yeah.
Like for Royal Ballet, it's very important. The whole year, boys and girls, they all have a professional contract, because at the end of the year, they can say, all my students, they can become professionals. And I think, as a dancer, it's extremely hard to work as a full-time for a company. You need to be good, lucky, hard work. I don't know, you need to be in the right place. Like, it's not just it's about so many factors.
Yeah. I have quite a few teachers who were people who were almost there, or had at the audition got like second place and just didn't quite make it.
I applied for the Scottish Ballet Open audition. We will talk about Scottish Ballet, because that's where we're going to, perhaps, like where we go. We need to. I went for Scottish Ballet Open audition. I went to Scotland. That's not the only one I applied there. And then I went I went to Scotland, I went to Glasgow, and actually I was like, oh, it looks similar from London, but smaller. I'm a bit more quieter, you know.
Mm.
Same gray. Right? I was like, okay, same thing, but same weather. But it looks a bit similar. Not the same, of course, but of course still UK.
Mm.
So it was a good transition. I feel good, you know. I went
And
to the audition, and they, the audition, you go to audition, and after that, they said to some numbers, we were numbers, they say, thank you for coming. And they don't give you an explanation, you know, they don't say why I asked you to leave or why, and they don't have to give you, they don't have that's how it is. And that's how it was. And then I go into the center work, and then after center work, again, some people, thank you for, and then after repertoire, we were only 4, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm the last 4, it wasn't the only one, I was in the last, so I was like, good, I felt confident. The repertoire was neoclassical, so it was something I was feeling, I didn't really touch a lot of neoclassical work. I actually, in Royal Ballet, we were working with Natalie Weir. You remember her? Natalie
yes,
Weir from Transition
yes,
in
yeah.
Brisbane, director. So we worked with her, and this is weird because I ended up in Australia after 13 years ago, and it was neoclassical and written, and I quite liked it. So I felt quite good with Scottish Ballet repertoire. But after the audition, they said to the 4 of us, thank you very much, we'll be in touch. That's it. Like, you
That's
didn't
it. Just
even, you didn't even know. So you go back, and then I knew the executive director of Royal Ballet, Jay Jolie, knew Ashley Page a lot. And then I used to ask him a lot, like, have you heard from Ashley Page? Have he said anything? And he said, oh, he actually dropped an email and said that he was very interested and, about you dancing. So I was really about it. And the week after, he sent the contract. So, but I got a contract as an apprentice. So it's a 6-month. So it's not a big deal. You are not, how to say it, you're not really sure as 19-year-old that you're going to be employed next year. So
yeah, it's like you've kind of got your foot in the door. You've still got to prove yourself.
exactly. So that's how, because Scottish Ballet, how they work, and that's not how every company works, but they give you life contracts.
Mm.
That's the contracts. They don't give you yearly contracts. That's why they give for people that comes from schools, especially because, from schools that you don't know the dancer, you don't know the behavior, you don't know they're 19 teenagers. So they prefer 6 months and see how it works, see how you fit in the company, because a company is a family as well. Because you spend a lot of time together every day. So yeah, I went to Scottish Ballet, I accepted it, and I started there, and I started good. Like I was a bit like, like pushy, I would say, because I was young and I came from a good school, I guess, and I felt confident. And I think sometimes I remember sometimes the company dancers, like they used to be a bit with me, like, oh, this guy, like, but whatever, you cannot care about anything that they say. Whatever happens in the studio, it can't affect you, because if it affects you, you can't be in that profession.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about apprenticeships. What are the kind of ranks in a ballet company? Would you say, like, what are the different ranks, and how do you work up them?
It really depends which company, but now because we talk about Scottish Ballet,
Yeah.
they have Cobra Ballet, which is equivalent to artist. They have choreo, which is the soloist, and they have soloist, and then they have principal dancer. And each rank, you get more money basically, and you get more responsibilities, and yeah, more respect, I guess. Yes, that's why they are there. If not,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
so
yeah,
you,
I entered below an artist, so it was an apprentice, which is like I would do the same work as an artist, but paid less, a bit less. and a shorter contract. It's just like a trial, basically. Yeah. And yeah, that's it.
So you were, as you said, so apprentice. Next one up was an artist. So what was your moment you say that kind of got you into that next level above? Because you were a soloist, weren't you?
I ended up a soloist. Yes,
Mm.
yes. Nice you ask because it's sometimes when like when the older you get, like it's nice to reflect on these moments because it's a lot of hard work and a lot of downs, but
Mm.
only one up really. I was an apprentice. I danced for Scottish Ballet for 6 months, and these 6 months I was very lucky. One of the company dancers' wife had a baby, obviously with the dancer, and the
Yeah.
dancer had to leave. Dancer had to leave before a show, and I was fourth cast. So it was the first piece we did. Actually, it was my first 3 months with the company. It was only 6 duets, so it wasn't called the ballet work. It was soloist works, basically,
Mhm.
solo work. Like, but it doesn't mean that you do a solo, you're gonna be soloist. Yeah, that we'll get into that. The director decided to give me the chance. These things. That's how things happened, and I performed, and that was my first professional. I'll remember. I have it in my head. That was my first professional performance as a professional dancer. And after that, I thought I would get it, but he didn't say because he was only 3 months in. He didn't say anything to me.
Mm.
I just heard like he was very proud.
Yeah.
Well done. And like directors also they play mind games, and you learn this with age. My parents, I was like, I don't know, I did really well, and my dad was like, but he should give it to you. I was like, yeah, but he hasn't said, and I can't go and ask.
Mm.
And then by the sixth month, he said to me, "Oh, you want to come to my office?" And I was like, "Yes." After 6 months, well, you've been dancing very well. Like you're staying with us, and you want to stay with us. Like we give you like a full contract as an artist. I was like, "Yeah." I was like so happy, and he was like, "Oh, come on, I feel you knew." I was like, "Come on, no, not cool." And then I became an artist. Was so happy. I guess that's the happiest.
Mm.
That's the happiest one when you become a full-time employee with a company.
Yeah.
Which I guess I was going to say when you don't have to worry about next year, but you always have to prove yourself as a dancer. So it's kind of like a bit more relaxed, a bit less pressure. That's it, less pressure.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
And then
how
I become an
long?
artist.
So how long were you an artist for before you got to the next kind of? Was a soloist after that?
No, no, Demi soloist. Very fair. So I was in for 3 or 4 years, I don't remember now. And luckily, and I don't want to, it was a change of direction because obviously when you enter a company young, the director have all the dancers that he has worked for years who they build a trust. It takes time to build trust. So if you want new opportunities, sometimes you need someone new to come that doesn't know really anyone, and then sees everyone with a different point of view. Yeah.
Mm.
And then the director, and then Christopher Hampson joined the company, and then he came with new ideas. He came saying that he would give a chance to people that would deserve it. That,
Mm.
he's not going to check at the past. He's going to start from today. And I was thinking, because I was dancing quite a lot with Ashley, and I was like, oh, maybe I should become promoted. And then I went to Christopher Hampson. Said to him, "What do you expect from me?" And he said, "Whatever you expect from you." And I was like, okay. And then next year he promoted me to Corifé, which was the Miss Always. And then I
Mm.
was Corifé for 2 years. But in Corifé, I was doing a lot of soloists and some principal roles already. And then I remember I was doing Romeo and Juliet, and I was dancing Mercutio, and I was doing Tybalt, and I was learning Romeo. And also I did one piece in Moscow, which was a big one. It was Pierrot Lunet by Glenn Tetley.
Hmm.
It- It's a very old one. It's a classic. And then he then said to me in Russia that he was going to promote me to soloist dancer, and I deserve it. And then yeah, and then I was very happy. But I kind of, the older you get and the more experience you get, I guess little by little you get more reassurance of what you do, if it's good or not. So I was pretty relaxed that I was doing the right thing. So I was very happy, and then I became a solo dancer. So yeah, that's how I became it. It was years by years, a lot of work, a lot of patience. Like you need to know so many roles that you're not gonna perform, but you might perform. So you need to keep the technique, because when you enter a company as well, you don't have someone telling you every day you need to stretch your knees. You need to remember to open your knees in the pirouette. Obviously, when you coach a solo, you will get corrections, but not much in class. You need to know.
Do any,
Yeah, and
I was gonna say, do any moments really stick out to you during that period to soloist? Like, are there any real moments or like kind of places you went to? Like, what were some of the key kind of, yeah, what were the moments for you that felt special?
well, I think one of you just asked me this, and I was just like, what's gonna come on my head? And I guess it was one of the most nicest moments was Swan Lake. It was a new creation of Swan Lake by David Dodson, a Dutch choreograph. Dutch choreograph. He was the resident choreograph of Dutch National Ballet, and he's a British choreograph. Yeah, he came to create Swan Lake, and I got the chance to do Siegfried, and it was pretty an amazing journey because it was like a 2 hours and a half ballet where he loved the passion, and the more passion you gave, the more like the more he would love it. And I'm a very, very passionate person, not dancer person, and I remember like crying on stage and not be able to breathe, getting into the moment where it's like you can't even control anything, but still like somehow it happened. And I think that's really hard to get, where the next day you can't walk because you didn't what happened.
Yeah.
I remember like my parents being also in the audience in Liverpool in this performance one leg. Yeah, it was pretty special. And then also like I got to travel to America so many times until the point that I don't want to go back, which I guess is not good and good. I remember like international tour was to China. I did the Scottish Ballet, and it was really exciting. Like first professional. I remember it was a bit wild. I was also 19. I was like the young one in the company. I was a bit like, I remember I just broke up with my first girlfriend, which it was like 2 years long least distance. It was funny, and then I was not crazy, but I was like, okay, what's going on in my life?
Yeah.
And then I went to, where did we went? We went to America so many times. Like I think 5 tours in America I have done. Yeah, I've been to LA 3 times. I've been to New Orleans, which is my favorite place in America, New York, danced in Washington, Minneapolis, and then yeah, China a lot, Australia, Taiwan,
Mm. Wow.
quite a lot. Yeah.
Geez, your passport
Also
must look
special.
impressive.
Well, that's what I said because lucky enough, I don't know you guys, but in Spain we change every 4 years passport. So I wish I had a whole passport for 20, for 20 years. It would look awesome. But no,
It would.
I kept all. Yeah, but it looks good. It looks good. And then I was also like my 3 years as a soloist with Scottish Ballet, they were pretty good, and I felt like I reached. It was nice because I felt like I reached the limit with Scottish Ballet, not with myself, but I felt like I had to move on, and I knew the repertoire was going to be similar. I was 28, so I was 28 to be 29 or 29, yes. And then I was like, I need to do something different and something like. Sorry, you haven't asked. I'm telling you how I came to Cinedance Company.
Yeah, I was like, thank
Um,
God he's leading into it because I was like, how do I link these two? But keep going. So Sydney dance, how did that happen?
yeah, I wanted a change in my life and I met Mia in Scottish Ballet, Mia Thompson, my fiancée at the moment. At the moment, it's kind of weird. Um, and then I remember like I was talking to her, we were friends, and she said to me like, "Have you ever thought of Sydney Dance Company?" I was like, "Oh, it sounds good." Sydney, it's like, why not? It's far away, like we live once. I'm very like we live once. We just need to go for it. And then I checked the website and I saw Rafael Bonachela. I was like, oh, I know this guy. He's Spanish. And then we were friends on Facebook. So I Facebooked him and said, I'm interested in Sydney Dance Company. How do I approach this? I'm in Glasgow. And then he messaged me back and said, send your details to the rehearsal director. And I was like, okay. So I sent my details and the rehearsal director was like, oh, nice. She sent me some videos and was like, can you learn these videos and send it to us? I was like, yeah. So I was quite like, oh, I need to learn it good. I need to be good.
Yeah, yeah.
I sent it back, and then he said, oh, we like it, can you do this two more?
Hmm.
Did this two more and then send it back. And then he's like, all right, we'll be in touch if opportunity occurs. I was like, well, hold on, is it actually happening? And then I knew Barcelona, and then I was with Mia in Barcelona on my holidays, and I Insta ran him this time, and I was like, "Hey, you want to meet up for a coffee?" So we meet, and then he replied and said, "Yes, let's." We went for coffee in Barcelona. We had a chat. It was like an interview, and and then a month later, I got an email saying like if I want to join Cineland's company. It was in September, and it was September, October, no, September, and then I went joining Cineland's company in January, and then me and me just together, it was like, oh shit, I'm going back to your country. Anyway, like yeah, and then I came to Cineland's company, yes, by doing, I guess, video audition and a meeting with Rafael. I was lucky enough to meet him in Barcelona to have a chat face to face, but not to work with him. And also, again, like I didn't know what I was going to get into it. I was liking it, the contemporary and the freedom. I was a bit over the classical. I was a bit done with classical. Not that I dislike it. I love classical. Yes, with classical, I was a bit like, yes, like I think I don't want to go there. I want to go more towards like more free and see who I am as a dancer. So actually this really helped because in a dance company, they do a lot of creation and really pushes you to find your limits and who you are and your own movement.
So what is the creative process like at Sydney Dance? Because I assume when you're in the ballet company, someone would come in, they teach the repertoire, you'd learn it, and then you kind of perform it. That's a very based down kind of how it worked. How was it like in Sydney Dance Company? How does it work in that kind of essence?
It is more free. It's more like they like to work with a lot of tasks, which is great. And then the dancers get to really go deep into really personal movement. And I guess that's why Sydney Dance Company pieces look so you can't imitate them, no, because it's very personal. What they do is very themselves, which is beautiful. So it's a lot of it works with a lot of creation, and that was one of the aspects that I was not very strong with it because I didn't really practice it during my previous 10 years. But again, I wasn't scared of it. I was going to go for it, and then it really changed the way I think right now. And really in 3 years, it really made me grow as a dancer, also as an artist. So now I love improvising.
Yeah.
But it's not, they don't ask you to improvise, like do whatever you want. It's all lead, like you have a reason. And sometimes this is the challenge because the reason kind of makes sense for you. And what the director could be interested is in the struggle of you finding it. Sometimes any personal stuff comes up. So that's how they work. Obviously, everything is put into counts after, so that's why all the unisons are really together, and the way they work in a dance company is like I feel like it's more like mathematics sometimes, which is great. That like everything has account, and that's why everyone looks and so in unison, so incredible, and it's like wow.
Yeah, because I actually got the chance to watch you perform, which is it's been really funny. Because when I first saw you come to our class, I stood at the back of class going, "I've seen that guy. I've seen him. I've seen him shirtless." That was an experience as well. But it was yeah. So you did dance. You came to Canberra and you did, I think, ab intra and maybe frame of mind.
Yes, Avintra, yes. That was my first. Also, I didn't tell you, but when I joined Cineland's company, I joined in January, and in February, I tore my meniscus and my meniscus flew. And I didn't really have any injuries. So I was like, great. And it was one of these ones that I was ready to go to Europe to do a European tour. That was my premiere, and I couldn't go. But in a way, it was good because I was in a new city, very far away, and I felt like I needed to, meniscus. It's an injury that you get surgery, but in one day you can walk slowly, and they recommend walk. You can't dance. I mean, I was back dancing in 6 weeks, and I had to be off for 3 months. But my body recovers and somehow. Yeah, no, it does. Yeah. Somehow, like I recover really, really quickly. Also, I'm very determined. When they say you need to do it, I will do it. The rehab. So I got the chance to see Sydney, and I had the company went on tour, so I didn't really have to go to the studio. I could just take care of my knee, and my cousin was here. Luckily, my cousin was traveling around the world, and he ended up in Sydney, and he stayed with me for 2 months. Yeah, and then we just got to discover Sydney and get comfortable, and now I love it.
And has it been a really big shift? Because you've been to a couple of different countries. You've with Spain, England, and Australia. What would you say kind of makes Australia different from most countries?
I always say, like in Australia, but some people say no, that's not true. But I think it's a bit true that they learn from the others, because it's very far away from. Sometimes you don't realize you're really in Sydney, but you're very far away from everything, from my family, But a lot of things happen in Europe, in America, that then it comes here, and I feel sometimes like they learn from it somehow, and I feel like things work here, like like right now is coronavirus, yes, and this lockdown, like it wasn't expected, but somehow the government already put this helping. You can ask for money, and they don't make it difficult for you to get help if you search for it, and I feel like in Spain, for example, they were it's happening the same coronavirus, and they don't get help from the government. Like there's not even of course they ask for it, but there's not even an option. And I feel like things work well somehow. I feel like in a big city, I mean Sydney. I actually travel around Australia a lot with the company because I did 2 regional tours. I saw Australia, and I don't know, the climate, I guess it helps a lot, makes people really chill.
So, how long were you a dancer in the company before you became the teacher, or you transitioned to a teaching role?
I was dancing in the company for 3 years, but I always said to the company that I was interested in teaching. So I used to teach in my second year already open classes in the company. And third year was the COVID year. So I got to teach almost every day online. So I slowly, without having to giving up something to do something else, I was already feeling that I liked teaching a lot, and it was fulfilling me. And like at the end, you always want new challenges. And yeah, I danced for the company for 3 years, and then but I'm still dancing now. So, and it was something like I was not expecting to happen that often after stopping professionally, to have opportunities to dance also really nice stuff, like beautiful stuff. So
And
I think it's
what kind of projects are you working on right now outside of the teaching?
I'm working for a play with movement, with Rahaf, which is a choreograph that choreographed for New Breed, Cosine Dance Company in 2020. And this is going to be in a year. I just worked with Benjamin Milpy in a creation for a couple of duets. And then also in March, I did the Brothers Grimm, choreographed by Franco Ventiglia. So I did 3 projects already this year. I mean, working in 3 projects, which is basically, and I got to perform twice. And yeah, good.
Yeah, very cool.
Good.
And if you were kind of...
I'm studying. I'm also studying to be a certified teacher. I'm doing my Royal Academy of Dance studies.
Yeah, can imagine it's quite extensive, that.
What are you gonna say?
If you had to kind of say like a motto you've lived by throughout your career, because you've done a lot and a lot of stuff I feel like you've just gone headfirst into. So is there kind of been like a motto you've had, or is it kind of like something you've always done in a way?
Actually, like my dad used to always put me a song and going to school to leave me on the train when I was young. And the song used to say, it's not gonna make sense, but it was, if I say a walker, like a person that walks, how would you say? A person that walks keeps, yeah. You get it?
An object in motion stays in motion?
No, a person that likes to walk, like as simple as that. A person that walks. Yeah. Imagine like when you walk, basically you should not look behind what you left behind. You just always needs to keep walking, and always be open-minded, not to take always the straight line. Like long journeys might take you longer, but it will give you more knowledge after, and it will help you and open you more doors and opportunities in life. Don't get stuck.
All right, well, I think that's an amazing chat. Thank you so much for coming on and having a discussion. I'd like to say everyone else watching, please like, comment, and subscribe, and maybe we can have Victor on again sometime when he has these new projects coming out. Thank you very, very much, man.
Thank you.